Hey guys, Foxy here. This is a redo of part 1 to What If Naruto was in the Maze Runner. Because someone commented that there's two voices inside of the video. Yeah. The first time I was doing this, I was trying to get a hang of it. It was not supposed to be posted. I was supposed to get a feel for it. I usually do that with my videos. Try to get a feel for what I want. And I guess I was being really lazy and deciding, I can just cut out the audio. Clearly I did not do it right because two voices in the same video. I am so sorry you guys had to hear that. I am really sorry. But this is a redo. I'm making this better this time. Either way, I'm really sorry you guys had to do that or listen to that. Either way, let's get on with the video. Our POV. A blonde-haired boy opened his crystal blue eyes, staring into darkness. The boy sprang up in surprise, gasping for air. Questions rattled his brain. Questions like, where am I? Where am I? Who am I? What is my name? The boy started to shake in fear. The place was so dark and so cold. The concrete underneath him felt like ice against his skin. And it was so quiet. There was nothing, no noise, no people, no animals, only him and his breath. Calm down, come on. Calm down, in, out, in, out. The boy took a deep breath, trying to remain calm. He got up slowly, trying to not fall over. After he got his footing, he slowly moved backwards until his back hit a ivy-covered brick wall, or concrete actually. A shiver ran up his spine when he touched the cold plants. He turned around slowly, feeling them. They were ivy. Okay. He pressed his hand deeper, feeling the hard, cold concrete underneath the vines. But then fear shook his core. He could hear siren sounds? No, but it was something not right with it. It wasn't too far away. And in instinct, the boy started to climb the walls. He didn't know how, but he was at a very fast pace. He touched them, felt everywhere he could. There has to be a hiding spot. His hope was slowly dying when the sounds were coming closer. He could see a bright light. His head said, it might be someone coming to save us. But his instincts said something otherwise. He followed his instincts, trusting them more than his mind right now. The sounds crept closer. Fear turned into panic. His breath quickened, feeling everywhere faster, faster than he could have ever imagined. His hope was almost dead. The sound was so close. It was right around the corner. Then his hand brushed against something. No, it was a hole. It was a hole he could climb into. He dove right into the hole, making himself smaller than he ever imagined he could make himself. His panic started to go away, hope rising in his chest. Then he heard it. Concrete cracking, tearing apart. Something stabbing, piercing the walls. It was climbing the wall. Whatever despicable, putrid creature that was climbing up these walls. It was coming straight for him. He held his breath. He didn't know what else to do. He only froze. Fear paralyzed him. It was right outside the hole. You could hear it. It shook him to his very core. He had no words. He couldn't even see the creature that was right in front of him. He only could see blinding light. He could feel the hairs on the back of his neck rise. No, scratch that. Every hair on his body rose with fear. With fear. No. Finally, the putrid creature moved away. The sounds of the concrete breaking and ripping got farther and farther away. The boy let out a shaky, terrified breath. I'll stay here for the night, he thought. He tried to go to sleep. He really did. But he couldn't. The idea of one of those creatures snatching him up from his home, or not home, more of a safety haven, terrified the boy. Hours passed. It felt like years to him, waiting for one of those creatures to come for him. But finally the sun rose. He could see it, the light bursting through the vines, piercing his eyes. He slowly crept out. He looked down and in shock, he was high off the ground. But he grabbed onto the rope and slid down. Once he landed, he decided to check out who he was. What did he look like? He examined himself. He wore a dark black shirt with a neon orange fox head in the front. Its tails curled around his body. It looked cool. He looked farther down. His pants, they were the same color as his shirt. A deep, dark black color. He wore white shoes. He took them off and looked inside. These are a child's shoes. How old am I? another question moved inside of his head. He put the shoe on and decided to look at what color his skin was. His skin was a beautiful tan color. He looked at his hands. They were covered in calluses. But when he moved his hands against his palm felt so soft, but a little rough. Alright, okay, let's see what color my hair is. The boy thought, well, trying to see what hair color he had. But to his surprise, he had a back, what's the name? He had hair going down his shoulder length hair, so he can easily see it. His hair was blonde with red and black streaks. Cool hair color, the boy thought. He moved his hair back. Okay, I have examined myself. Now, what is my name? Think about. He tried to remember. After a few minutes, he gave up. It'll come to me when something happens. He started to walk absent-mindedly down the hallway, sort of the hallway, until he tripped over something. He fell square on his face. Ow, he mumbled while getting up. He rubbed his scratched up nose. He looked back to see what tripped him, and he saw a duffel bag. It was a duffel bag. And around it, a couple backpacks. Oh my God, the boy thought, well, dashing over to the bags. Okay, which bag should I open? He was like a child on Christmas morning. He decided to go with the smallest backpack, saving the big ones for later. He ripped the backpack open and saw a first aid kit immediately. And you know what? I'm gonna dump it out, the boy said, while dumping out the backpack. The stuff in it instantly fell out. After it looked like everything was out, he shoved his hand down the backpack to see if there's any more goodies. He found a pocket. It was zipped up, so he opened it and pulled out what he needed. He didn't look at it, he just dumped it in the pile he made. He kept doing that with several other pockets that were zipped up. He folded the backpack and put it to his side. He looked at the goodies he had. Most of them were small. Okay, organizing time, the boy said out loud. In all, in the small backpack were 2 first aid kits, 10 boxes of matches, a couple dozen small, easy to carry knives, soap, shampoo, a hairbrush, a mirror, toothbrush, toothpaste, and nothing much. Yeah, whatever. He put everything back. After everything was in its original order, he put the backpack back to his side. He grabbed the second largest backpack. And he did the same thing with the smallest one. He'd pour it all out. But in this backpack held 10 pairs of shirts, 12 pairs of pants, a couple dozen socks, a few pairs of underwear, deodorant, a couple more toothpaste bottles, nail clippers, filers, a few daggers, around 15 daggers, and scrolls, a whole bunch of scrolls. I don't know what these are for, but they would be a good tool to start a fire. Then he put everything back and put it by the smallest backpack. Now the largest backpack he dumped out with gusto. Inside just held scrolls, paper, ink, paintbrushes. What am I going to do with this? Oh my lord. Naruto thought, well, putting everything back lazily though. Okay, now let's check in the duffel bag. He tried lifting it up. Instantly, clunking sounds could be heard. His eyes widened. A smile appeared on his face. Instead of lifting the duffel bag open, Naruto opened it. Canned goods started to fall out. It was like a river. They kept pouring out. Instantly, his tongue slipped out from his mouth, licking his dried, cracked lips. After all the cans fell out, he checked in all the other pouches. Chapstick? Ooh, he instantly used that one on his lips. They felt better afterwards. A few boxes of matches. And a few more scrolls. What am I going to use these papers for? He took a closer look at them. Cool design, he thought, while absentmindedly throwing it back. And more. Then he felt something amazing. He felt a can opener! With gusto, Naruto jumped up, dancing. He was dancing like a lunatic. He was so happy he held up the can opener like it was a god, or something from God. I got the can opener, I got the can opener, do 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 do, I'll never go hungry, do 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 do. After a few minutes of this childish act, he finally decided to crack one open. He looked through the cans. There were different types of food in them. A mixture of fruits in one, canned beans, yuck, and basically vegetables. His stomach twisted and turned in disgust. I hate vegetables, he mumbled. But he sighed while opening up a can of fruit. And he poured it all into his mouth. The sticky The sticky juice poured down his face into his shirt. But Naruto didn't care. The cold, sweet, sticky liquid and fruit went down his throat. After it was all gone, Naruto sighed. Well, this should do me good for a little while. He looked at the empty can. Should I throw it away? Ugh, not a good idea. What if those things can catch my scent? Ugh, I don't want to have that. He got up, looking around where he could put it. Maybe I could put it back in my bag? No. What should I do with it? Whatever. The boy said, we'll throwing the empty can into his bag along with the other ones. He set his precious can opener in the smallest backpack. But he stopped. Wait. I have a mirror. I have a mirror. Realization crossed his features. He dashed towards the smallest backpack, opening it up again, pulling out the small round mirror. He checked himself out. He looked around 8, maybe 10. Okay. And the weird thing about him was he had whisker marks, 3 on each cheek. It was strange. He had big, wide blue, no, not blue, crystal blue eyes that shimmered in the light. His hair was spiky, black and red tips, and there were black and red tips. Okay, around 8 or 10, and nothing important. Whatever. Naruto said, while throwing the mirror back into the backpack. He swung the small backpack over his shoulder and looked at the others. How am I going to carry them? He put his hand to his chin, thinking. Then he heard a deep, evil chuckle come from somewhere. And this will be the ending of part 1. Love you all.